Hello, this is K. Narsimurthy. I am presently working as an assistant professor in a government first grade women's college, Tumkur. I am presenting a video for the subject physics, and this is my 32nd video for the second semester BSc students of Tumkur University. I have finished half of the syllabus in 30 sessions, in 30 videos. So I took a new chapter now, and this chapter is on magnetic materials. I presented one video about these magnetic materials. That was a 31st video. This is a 32nd video, means a second video in this new chapter, magnetic materials, magnetic properties of materials. Let us recapitulate something which I have taught in the last previous video, which are very basic definitions regarding these magnetic properties of materials. One is the intensity of magnetization, magnetizing force, magnetic induction, and then the permeability, and then the susceptibility. These are some of the very basic things which we have learnt in the last video, the immediate last video, that was 31st video. Now let us look for the different kinds of magnetic materials. Before going to the type, so until 1845 it was believed that the iron, nickel and cobalt are the magnetic materials. It was believed that these are only the magnetic materials which are available in nature: iron, nickel and cobalt. But Michael Faraday, after 1845, he have proved that any material we can magnetize a material. A material can be magnetized. Other materials can also be magnetized. Then Pauli Langevin proved with an electron theory. He explained with an electronic theory that the magnetic properties of these magnetic materials. He explained satisfactorily the properties of magnetic materials. Now, based on this magnetic behavior and the susceptibility, these materials have been classified into different types. I can say 5 types. One is the diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material, and the ferromagnetic material, and ferrimagnetic material, antiferromagnetic materials. Lot of bifurcation has been done based on this magnetic property and also the susceptibility. Right, you have in your syllabus only the 3 magnetic materials, which are dia, para and the ferromagnetic material. Let us understand and learn about the properties of these 3 important magnetic materials. They are the diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic material and ferromagnetic materials. Let us understand one by one. Okay, alright. First I'll start with the diamagnetic material. So these are the materials which get feeble magnetization opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field. You have to understand the feeble magnetization. Feeble means weak, a very weak magnetization. This material will get very weak magnetization. That too in a direction opposite to that of applied field. Very feeble magnetization, and that too in an opposite direction, opposite to that of applied magnetic field. Okay, and these kind of materials are called diamagnetic material. Of course they are magnetized, but very weakly, very feeble magnetization, but in a direction opposite to that of magnetic field. So example for this diamagnetic materials are bismuth, antimony, copper, gold, silver, water, zinc. Any more examples? Many more examples I can give for this diamagnetic material. Right. The diamagnetic material basically contains a pair of electrons in the outermost orbit. Hence the net magnetization is 0. If we have a pair of electrons, the magnetization get cancels. So if I look for a net magnetization, it will be 0 in the absence of magnetic field. So we don't have a net magnetization in the absence of electric field, because These diamagnetic material contains a pair of electron in the outermost orbit. The magnetization will cancel each other. When suppose an external field is applied, when an external magnetic field is applied, the moving electrons will experience a force and they get feebly magnetized, very weakly magnetized, that too in a direction opposite to that of applied magnetic field. Of course they are magnetized, they are very weakly magnetized, very feebly magnetized, but in a direction opposite to that of applied magnetic field. Okay, but in the absence of magnetic field, it is very much clear they are not magnetized. The net magnetization is zero, net dipole moment is zero. They are not at all magnetized in the absence of external magnetic field, because they have pair of electrons in the outermost orbit. The net magnetization will cancel each other. If you look for net magnetization, it will be clearly zero in the absence of magnetic field. Right. We look for the properties, very interesting properties of diamagnetic material. These diamagnetic material expels the external magnetic field. Okay, they repel the external magnetic field. Suppose if you apply a magnetic field for these diamagnetic material, these magnetic lines of forces are expelled out of these diamagnetic material. Okay, just like how a superconductor will expels these magnetic lines of forces, how the superconductor will not allow any magnetic lines of forces to pass through it. Exactly in the same way, these diamagnetic materials will expel the magnetic lines of forces. They will not allow the magnetic lines to pass through it. Okay, right. Now we look for permeability. The permeability is less than 1. You know, students, what is permeability is. Permeability is a degree of penetration of magnetic lines of forces through any material. If we have more penetration, more degree of penetration, permeability will be more of that material. If you have a less penetration, permeability of that material will be less, as I told you in the last video. So it is obviously less. We cannot expect more magnetic lines to pass through it. Therefore, less penetration. Therefore, permeability of this particular material is less. Permeability of this diamagnetic material is less than 1, because the degree of penetration will be less here in the diamagnetic material. When you look for susceptibility, it is negative. Yeah. Susceptibility means how easily a substance is magnetized. So it is not so easy to magnetize a substance. It is not so easy to magnetize this particular diamagnetic substance. So susceptibility will be negative. Okay. If it can be easily magnetized, means susceptibility will be more. It will be more positive. So when it is difficult to magnetize a substance, then the susceptibility will be less. Less means it is negative in the case of diamagnetic materials. Okay, these diamagnetic materials move from strong magnetic field region to a weak magnetic field region. So these are some of the properties of diamagnetic materials. So I will repeat these properties once again. These diamagnetic material repel the magnetic lines of forces, repel the external magnetic field, and the degree of magnetization, degree of penetration of magnetic lines is less. That means the permeability is less than 1 for diamagnetic material. And susceptibility, how easy it is magnetized, you cannot magnetize so easily, so susceptibility is negative. They move from a region of strong magnetic field to a region of weak magnetic field. These are some of the properties which I have listed for the diamagnetic materials. Yeah, let's move on some other magnetic material. The second type of magnetic material, which is a paramagnetic material. This paramagnetic material is which get feeble magnetization. I will tell you what is feeble is. Feeble means a weak magnetization. Again, this material is also weakly magnetized in a direction of applied magnetic field. See the difference between the dia and the paramagnetic material. they are also feebly magnetized but in opposite direction. But this particular paramagnetic material is also feebly magnetized but in a direction to that of applied magnetic field. Okay, this is magnetized in a direction of the applied magnetic field, but that diamagnetic material is magnetized very weakly in an opposite to that of magnetic field, applied magnetic field. Okay, that is the difference between dia and paramagnetic. Both are feebly magnetized, but it is in a direction to that of applied magnetic field. I can give many examples for this paramagnetic material. They are manganese, aluminium, copper, chromium, platinum, magnesium. Almost all these are kind of metals. These are all almost metals. So they are also weakly magnetized, but in a direction to that of applied magnetic field. Right. These are the substances whose orbital and spin magnetic dipole moments of an electrons orient randomly, giving net magnetization in the absence of external field. See, in the absence of external field, they are randomly oriented. The dipoles, the magnetic dipoles of an electrons are oriented in a random direction. This is in direction, this electrons, this is in direction. They are totally randomly oriented in the absence of external magnetic field. So if you look for net magnetization, it will be zero. If they are aligned in one particular direction, you can get some magnetization to be non-zero. But if they are randomly magnetized, if you take a net magnetization, it will be zero. Right. But when you apply an external magnetic field, these dipoles starts orienting in the direction of the applied magnetic field, giving rise to net magnetization. Okay. So this is the one thing which we need to understand. When external field is applied, dipoles start orienting because they experience a torque. Each electronic dipoles will experience a torque and they tend to align in a direction of applied magnetic field. This gives rise to a net magnetization. So they give net magnetization in the presence of applied external magnetic field. But in the absence of external magnetic field, again the net magnetization is zero in the case of paramagnetic materials. Right. Let us look into some of the unique properties of these paramagnetic materials. The paramagnetic substance attracted by the external magnetic field, whereas in the dia they are repelled. The magnetic lines of forces are repelled in the case of diamagnetic material. But here in the case of paramagnetic material, they are attracted. Substances are attracted by these external magnetic field. When you look for permeability, is slightly greater than 1. It is greater than 1. There it is less than 1. Here the degree of penetration will be more. Here in the case of paramagnetic material, you can expect some penetration of magnetic lines into this paramagnetic material. So the permeability is high. Permeability is slightly greater than, not too high. Not too high, because you cannot expect more magnetic lines of forces. You cannot expect more degree of freedom. But you can expect some degree of penetration in the case of this paramagnetic material. So you can expect a slightly greater than 1 permeability in the case of this particular paramagnetic materials. But look for susceptibility. It is not negative in this case. They can also be magnetized, not so easily magnetized, but somehow they can be magnetized. Okay, so the susceptibility is not negative, but whereas it is negative in the case of diamagnetic material, it is not negative here. It is a quite positive number, but it is again a less than 1. Susceptibility is less than 1. Not so very easily magnetized, but it's magnetized. Therefore, it is not negative. It is coming to the positive region. Susceptibility is positive in this case, but less than 1. They move from weak magnetic field region to a strong magnetic field region. Okay, but whereas diamagnetic field, it is exactly opposite. They are moving from strong magnetic field region to weak magnetic field region. Here in this case, they are moving from weak magnetic field region to the strong magnetic field region. Okay, there are quite different properties, quietly different properties compared to the diamagnetic materials. Students, you need to understand the bifurcation here. You need to understand the difference between these dia and paramagnetic material, because in the exam you can expect a question to distinguish these dia, para and ferromagnetic materials. So you may get confused with lot of properties, but if you understand a particular difference between dia and paramagnetic and ferromagnetic, if you understand these particular differences, it is easy for you to write an exam, reproduce in the examination. Fine. Alright. So we have something here, it's a translational kinetic energy. This is due to temperature. This randomness of the randomness of dipoles is because of this temperature. It has kinetic energy because of this temperature, which is given by 3 by 2 kT, where k is the Boltzmann constant. If paramagnetic substance has n number of dipoles, means each dipole will contributing for net magnetization. If it has n number of dipoles, each having a dipole moment m, then the net magnetization, saturation magnetization is m is equal to n into m. Number of dipoles into the dipole moment of each dipole will give us the total magnetization, which is n into m. Okay, right. So we understood two magnetic materials. One is diamagnetic, another one is a paramagnetic material. Now let us see a third magnetic material, which is a ferromagnetic material. So these materials which get strongly magnetized in a direction of applied magnetic field. Look at the differences. Dia is feebly magnetized in an opposite direction to the applied field, whereas this paramagnetic material is weakly magnetized in a direction to that direction same as that of applied magnetic field, whereas ferromagnetic material is strongly magnetized in a direction of applied magnetic field. They are feebly but opposite direction, they are weakly but in the same direction, but they are very strongly magnetized in the same direction of the applied magnetic field. So example for this is iron, cobalt, nickel, which was believed as a magnetic materials, magnetic substances before this 1845. Okay, right. These are the examples for the ferromagnetic material. And the magnetic dipole orients randomly in the absence of external field. It's the same in the case of dia, para also, but orient in a field direction by applying an external field. When you apply an external magnetic field, each magnetic dipole starts orienting in a direction of external magnetic field. They remain magnetized even after the removal of external field. That's an important thing. That's a very important thing you need to observe here is, if you take out the external field, they still remain magnetized. If you remove the external field, they still remain magnetized because of the spontaneous magnetization arises from exchange couple interaction. But still it has a magnetic field. That's what spontaneous magnetic field. That is arises because of the exchange couple interaction of electron spin in an atom with that neighboring atom. Because of the interaction, it still remain magnetized. Okay, even after removing the external magnetic field. So if I write an equation for magnetization, it is Me plus Mi. Me is because of external field and Mi is because of spontaneous magnetization. So contribution of these two has to be taken into consideration while calculating the total magnetization. One from the external magnetic field, another from the spontaneous magnetization because of the interaction of neighboring atoms, because of the interaction of electron spin in the neighboring atoms. So two things will contribute for the net magnetization. Okay, that's a different thing. That's a very special thing in the case of ferromagnetic material, but this thing will not happen in the case of dia or paramagnetic material. This is a very unique character in the case of ferromagnetic material. Right. When you look for the particular properties of these ferromagnetic materials, The ferromagnetic material are strongly attracted by external magnetic field. Look at the difference now. The dia, they repel the magnetic lines. Paramagnetic field, they are weakly attracted by external field. But here ferromagnetic substances are strongly attracted by the external field. They are strongly attracted by external field. But look at the permeability. Permeability means it's a degree of penetration of magnetic lines of forces. Degree of penetration is very high. So these substances will allow the magnetic lines of forces to penetrate through the substance. Therefore, the permeability is very, very high. Whereas in the diamagnetic, they will not allow magnetic lines to pass through it. Degree of penetration is less. Permeability is negative. Whereas in para, it slightly allows. So degree of penetration is less but positive, it is less than 1. But look at the ferromagnetic material, they will allow these magnetic lines of forces very much to pass through it. Therefore, the permeability is very large. It is of the order of 10 to the power of 3 to 10 to the power of 6, which is very, very high compared to para or diamagnetic materials. And look at the susceptibility here in the case of ferromagnetic material. It is positive and very large. So it was a negative in the case of diamagnetic material. Okay, how easily it is magnetized, very negative. The para, it is positive but less than 1, not so easily magnetized, but they are very easily magnetized. Look at the ferromagnetic material, they are very easily magnetized, very high and the positive value of susceptibility you can expect in the case of particular ferromagnetic material. Right. So here they move from weak magnetic field region to the strong magnetic field region, just like how the paramagnetic material did. But dia is exactly opposite to these two. So one very important thing here is they exhibit a magnetic hysteresis. This ferromagnetic material will exhibit a magnetic hysteresis because even we take out the applied external magnetic field, there exists some magnetization. There exists some magnetization because I told you because of the this electron spin interaction of the two neighboring atoms. So therefore, that magnetization will still exist even the external field is removed, and this is a very particular property in the case of ferromagnetic material. It is called a magnetic hysteresis. I will discuss you in detail about the magnetic hysteresis in my coming videos. But till now you just know that the magnetic hysteresis means even after removing the external magnetic field, it has some magnetization. It has some behavior of magnetization. I will tell you what exactly this is, what exactly the magnetic hysteresis is in my coming videos. Right. Now there is one theory which is a magnetic domain theory which explains this ferromagnetic material. It tells that this domain theory will tells that so these magnetic materials has been divided into domains. Okay. So here in each domain there is a random orientation of magnetic dipoles. Look at these domains. The magnetic lines of forces are so randomly arranged, therefore net magnetization is 0. But look at when you apply an external magnetic field, when you start magnetizing the material, so these dipoles which are present in each domain will start orienting in the direction of external field. Therefore, you can expect a net magnetization to be non-zero in the case of the ferromagnetic material. This was the domain theory which clearly explains the properties of ferromagnetic material. According to Weiss, a piece of ferromagnetic material will contain number of pieces called domain. I'll tell you each material has been divided into domains. In each domain, all dipoles are aligned in same direction. Thus, all domains are magnetized to saturation. Okay. So, dipoles are aligned in same direction. All domains are magnetized. All domains, each individual domains are magnetized. But the direction of magnetization from domains to domain changes. So, one domain dipoles are oriented in one direction, maybe in the northeast. Take it as northeast. In another domain, it is southwest. In another domain it is something else. So they are oriented randomly. But when you look at domain to domain, it will change. So, but therefore, when you look for a net magnetization, it will be zero again. But when you take one particular domain, they are aligned in one direction. But domain to domain, the direction will change. So net magnetization is zero. This is all in the absence of external magnetic field. This is the thing which I am saying in the absence of magnetic field. Look what happens when you apply an external magnetic field. When external magnetic field, the dipole moments from all domains starts aligning in a direction of the field and giving rise to non-zero magnetization. Okay. Now, a domain forces its neighboring domain to align in a field direction because of exchange interaction. Not only the external field is influencing here. Here is the domain forces. Each domain is forcing a neighboring domain to align in this direction. This is because of exchange interaction. We are experiencing some exchange interaction in the case of ferromagnetic material, which is not happening in the case of para and diamagnetic materials. When heated above Curie's temperature, ferromagnetic becomes a paramagnetic due to destruction of domain structure. When it is heated, domain structure will get destructed. Now a ferromagnetic material which can be beautifully magnetized, now it has converted into a paramagnetic material. Now domain structure is spoiled because of this high temperature which is above this Curie temperature. Right students, these are some of the books which I referred. You please go through it. It's a very interesting topic. You understand these things better. Thank you.